Today we'll be looking at how you can take great pictures with your smartphone without having to spend tons of money on professional photographers and a fancy camera. So one of the essentials to being able to sell your stuff on Etsy is everyone tells you is that you need to have good photography. And good photography is expensive either because you have to hire a photographer or buy like a $2,000 camera, which most of us just don't have the money for. And so with my years of experience in photography, I thought I'd put together 3 elements and teach you guys how to take some really good pictures with your smartphone. Now, it's not going to be Super Bowl's amazing because there's certain lenses and stuff that other photographers are using that kind of gives you that dreamy faded look. But if you implement the techniques that I teach you today, you should be able to at least get your feet off the ground with photography that stands out, more so than it would if you just took it on your couch or your bench or whatever. The 3 things that we need to understand are light, context, and angle. Yeah, so light, first of all, is what shapes how we see things and what we see. For our purposes today, we're gonna try get a very, very even soft light. And so what I did, I just went and found a nice shady spot under my house outside, and I used that light to illuminate the product. Second is context. Context is very, very important. Actually, it's the second time I'm doing this tutorial, a bit of honesty and authenticity there, and I went through all the steps, and I used this really, really bright red blanket, and I kind of ignored my own advice on context, and the picture came back and it was horrible, so I had to redo it. So this is take 2. So context is very, very important because if you put a color that doesn't match well with your product, then it's just not going to look good. It's not going to feel right. You have to select something that goes along well with your store and that'll help your image pop out of all the other images that your buyers will be seeing. And third is angle. Of course, you know, photographers are always going from one side to the next, and it's very important because it really defines what kind of shape your product will end up having. So which shape makes your product look the best within the context and the light. See, it brings it all together. So we have 3. We have light, we have context, background and stuff, and then angle. Those 3 things, very important. So here's a description of the things that I used in order to get the images that I had. I just had a few pieces of material that we've been using for the business. I also had the products, of course, that we'll be selling. And we had, that's right, the iPhone, there it is. And then we also had a chair to prop these things on and a wine glass for me to put the bonnet on and make it not look all weird and awkward. So I laid out the blanket on top of the chairs, put the product on, and I made sure that the angles were right. I made sure that there wasn't too much shadow coming onto the edges of the frames. I made sure to leave enough margin around the actual product so that once it's loaded onto Etsy, that it doesn't cut any of the product off in the frame, in the thumbnail frame of the image. And I also took some vertical ones in case you wanted to use those. Just to get variety is always a good idea. And I did the same thing again with the bonnet. It was a bit more tricky because it had a bit of shadow underneath the bonnet, and so I just had to adjust the exposure on my smartphone in order to compensate for that, and I think they came out pretty well. So pretty much what this is, it's a trial and error, right? Like, you're not paying someone to get the job done, so you have to take the time and spend the time to finesse it and to make it work. I didn't say it was going to be easy, but it is a way that you can take good pictures with your smartphone for cheap, but it'll take a bit of trial and error, and I believe that you can do it. Once you've taken the pictures, go ahead and export them to your computer. I just use the Dropbox folder, not Dropbox, the Google Drive folder from my phone onto Google Drive, and I just pick it off the computer. I recommend that you use this program called Picasa. It's free of charge online. I'll put a link down in the description below. Feel free to download it and look up tutorials and stuff about how you can do that. I might make one in the future you can check out as well, just to kind of give you a heads up of how to use it well in order to organize and catalog all of your pictures. Again, it's for free. It's a really cool product. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. I hope this is valuable to you. If it was, please hit subscribe and comment, ask questions down below. I'd love to answer any questions that you guys have. If this is your first time, I'll explain a little about what marketing on Etsy is. It's a channel that focuses on marketing techniques for Etsy, and that's not the reason why we exist. The reason we actually exist is because we know that you have a beautiful talent that deserves to be shared with the world, and it is my hope that I can help you do that in an effective way. One video a week of marketing tips on Etsy. Stay tuned. I'll see you soon.